Close your eyes and join Renny on a magical bedtime adventure. It all started when Renny found a glowing book lying open on her bed. She didn't remember putting it there. The pages shimmered like morning sunlight on water, and golden letters danced across the surface. Curious, she reached out and gently touched one of the pages. As soon as her fingers brushed the soft, warm glow, a light surrounded her like a cozy blanket. The room faded away, and she felt herself lifting off the bed, floating higher and higher into the air. She landed in the middle of a massive floating library in the sky. It was bigger than anything she had ever seen. A place where magic and books came to life. Books with soft, feathery wings fluttered above her head like butterflies, and endless spiral bookshelves twisted upward into the clouds, glowing with golden light. The air smelled like old pages and stardust. Renny whispered, "Where am I?" To her surprise, a tiny book with silver edges flew down and said in the gentlest voice, "You're in the Library of Dreams, where every story you can imagine lives and waits for you." Each book on the shelves opened a door to a different story. Renny could hear the faint sounds of oceans, laughter, forests, and music coming from their covers. One book caught her eye. It had a deep purple cover with golden stars that sparkled like tiny lanterns. She reached out and opened it. A swirling wind burst out and wrapped around her like a ribbon. Suddenly, everything spun, and Renny found herself in a jungle, thick with green leaves and tall trees. Birds chirped, and vines dangled like streamers. Just ahead, a parrot in a tiny hat waved and shouted, "Welcome, reader!" In the middle of the jungle, a playful monkey swung down and handed Renny a riddle carved on a smooth leaf. "If you want to find the way, count the birds that sing today." She giggled and looked around. Bright birds of every color chirped and danced in the trees above. Red, blue, yellow, even rainbow ones. Renny counted them carefully, making sure not to miss any hiding in the leaves. When she gave her answer, the trees rustled and slowly parted, revealing a glowing path lined with golden vines. A book-shaped door stood at the end, waiting for her. The next book took Renny to a glowing hill under a giant smiling moon. Stars blinked like fireflies in the sky. There, on a floating petal, sat a white rabbit wearing a little vest and pouring tea from a golden teapot. "I've been expecting you," he said kindly. He invited Renny to sit beside him on the soft petal. They sipped warm honey tea from tiny cups and talked about dreams, stories, and the secrets of the stars. Before she left, he gave her a glowing leaf with tiny sparkles that never faded. "This will help you," he said with a wink. Just as Renny stepped into the next book, the skies darkened. A wild wind roared and torn book pages swirled all around her. Scribbled letters flew like birds, spinning and tumbling through the air. Some tried to wrap around her legs like vines. She ran as fast as she could, dodging sharp words and tangled sentences. Then she remembered the glowing leaf. She held it up high above her head. It shimmered with golden light, and slowly the scribbles calmed. The letters floated gently to the ground, forming peaceful little words like hope, brave, and imagine. Back in the heart of the library, Renny stood before a giant book sitting on a pedestal. It was open, but the pages were blank. The silver-edged book from before hovered near and whispered, "It's your turn." Renny looked at the empty pages, then picked up a soft feather pen lying beside it. She dipped it into a tiny bottle of shimmering ink and began to write. As she wrote each word, pictures came to life around her, glowing, swirling, dancing in the air like tiny dreams. She was writing her own story, and the library listened with every word. She opened her eyes in her cozy bed, warm and safe. The glowing book was gone, but the smell of honey tea still lingered in the air, soft and sweet. Her plush bear rested in her arms, and she could feel her heart still full of magic. She smiled and whispered, "Thank you, Library of Dreams. I'll be back soon." Renny closed her eyes again, knowing that the next story was already waiting for her, just a page away. More magical stories are on the way. Subscribe if you'd like to join again.